Hey guys, this is Ed. Today I'm going to be looking at some hands that I played from 2-4 to 10-20, where I faced a 3-bet and called. So before we start with the hands, let's just review what our options are when we face a 3-bet. Our options are fold, call, or raise, or 4-bet. So with the bottom of our range, so like complete air, for instance, like 7 to off, if you have 7 to off in whatever position, we usually going to fold. And with the top of our range, a hand like pocket aces, which we can generally raise for value, we're usually going to 4-bet. And so those sort of extremes are generally going to be pretty easy to identify. And then the middle of our range that we don't really think that we can raise for value, and we don't really think that we can fold because we're generally ahead of the opponent's range, and or we're getting the right odds to call. Those hands we're usually going to call. One more thing, as usual, with the very bottom of our calling range, we're generally going to be much better off folding or raising. So don't go too loose on your calls, basically. Okay, so now that we're reviewed our reasons for calling a 3-bet, let's get started. So in this hand, I'm on the button and I raise, and both the small blind and the big blind are regular players, so you can see that sort of reflected in my raise size, which is 2.5 times. And I get 3-bet by the small blind, who is a reg who has a loose enough range that I think pocket eights is fairly ahead of his range to call here. So I call. The flop is 4-6-4. Pocket eights are generally going to be good on this flop, and he checks. So in this spot, I bet. I bet about slightly less than half pot, and there are several reasons why I bet. So one of the okay. So there is one reason that I bet. I bet for value. What hands can I get value from? Some people sometimes 3-bet small pocket pairs, in which case they would sometimes take a check call line of this flop. And that's one type of hand that I can get value from. The other type of hand that I can get value from is a hand like ace king or ace queen, which may like call or maybe even check raise. I'm definitely going to be sometimes facing a big pocket pair in this situation where he decides to check, and he's generally going to check raise with a pocket pair. And we'll soon see how we can sort of identify spots and understand, like in this hand and the next hand, we'll sort of see two different situations that happen on very similar boards. So those are the main reasons, and then the other sort of secondary reason is that I'm betting to pick up the dead money, because if he has a hand like ace king, I don't really want to, let him see a turn, and there is enough money in the pot that I want to sort of just take that money. That's a secondary reason. The main reasons have to be there before you get to that secondary reason.